5:30 p.m. and it's family time.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Family Time. Yes, it's your show on a Monday at this hour of the afternoon, or perhaps some would want to say evening, but let's see how we fare. So, Family Time is about your issues and your relationships. It's about your at home family, your community family, and your global family. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries, and our aim is to produce healthy families which will lead to healthy nations. Stay with us. And please connect via all our platforms. Friend us on Facebook at FLM Family Life Ministries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries FLMJA. And on Instagram, keep up with what's happening at FLMJA. While Family Time is a family program, we'd like to caution that it may, on the odd occasion, touch on what some may consider mature matters. Your discretion is advised. Across Jamaica and the wider Caribbean, breastfeeding is often viewed as natural, but that doesn't mean it's easy. From the physical changes in pregnancy to the first latch, and through the ups and downs of feeding every day, breastfeeding takes knowledge, patience, and plenty of support. In today's show, we'll walk through the journey step by step with a nurse and a lactation consultant. We'll be addressing cultural beliefs, clinical facts, and what families can do to help mothers succeed in breastfeeding. Join us as we look at the topic understanding breastfeeding from first latch to everyday life. And we'll be answering questions you never knew you had. And you know what? You won't even need to ask them. But I'm sure some of you still want this. So go ahead. But before you start firing off and sending your questions, here's one for you. What was the hardest thing for you when it was time to breastfeed? What was the hardest thing for you when it was time to breastfeed? And if there's any man out there who wants to chime in and wants to say what was the difficult thing for his wife, you can go ahead and let us know how that went. I suppose you can also give your ideas on how difficult it was for you watching your wife or the mother of your child go through some of the difficulties and struggles that she may have encountered. Send your answers via WhatsApp text and WhatsApp voice notes to 876 997 3125. That's 876 997 3125. If it's a voice note, please keep it to 30 seconds or less. You can also call our studio lines at 876 968 8327 or 8328. And of course, for those of you who are watching us live, whether you're on Facebook or the Love FM YouTube page, get your questions ready and you can leave your comments as we go along in the show. Our special guests are coming right up after this break. Stay tuned, find out who they are, and let's get going.
Turn the flame up and take it to 100.
This summer we're turning up the love across Jamaica. It's the Double the Love Summer Tour with Love 101.
Everything I talk about
Join us in 5 parishes for live broadcast of the Gospel Train and Youth Connection, plus community cook-offs, family sports, games, and good vibes from Portmore to St. Thomas, Manchester, Mobile, and Kingston.
I'm about to have a good day.
We're spreading faith, fun, and fellowship island wide. And it all ends with a big back to school grand finale in Kingston. The Double the Love Summer Tour, powered by Love 101, the family station. Don't you miss it.
God made the universe, knows me by my name, so it's a good day.
Welcome back to Family Time. I guess I didn't tell you before because it doesn't seem to be clicking in my memory. I'm Sir Twain and I'm your host for today. So, we said we had our special guests with us to talk about the whole matter of breastfeeding. And our topic is understanding breastfeeding from first latch to everyday life. Our special guests this afternoon are Chevelle Morgan, a registered nurse and a nutrition practitioner, and Simika Alexander, a lactation consultant for breastfeeding. Welcome, and how are you both?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Simika? All right, not sure Simika is muted or what, because I'm hearing Chevelle. So, Simika, as soon as you're able, let's know what's happening on your side. So, remember our feedback question for all our viewers and listeners today. What was the hardest thing for you when it was time to breastfeed? WhatsApp your text or voice notes to 876-997-3125. Voice notes no longer than 30 seconds. And if you're calling the studio lines, the numbers are 876-968-8327 or 8328. All right. So, breastfeeding doesn't begin at birth, or prep for breastfeeding doesn't begin at birth. It begins in, you got it right, pregnancy. The body is already preparing, but many mothers and families don't fully understand what's happening. So I imagine that's a good place to start. And I'll ask the question which seems unnecessary, but for all those who don't understand what's happening out there, the average man, which I am, let's go. So, Nurse Morgan, what is breastfeeding?
All right, so breastfeeding is literally what the word is saying. You have a breast and you're giving your baby food that way, hence breastfeeding, right? It's one of the most intimate things that can happen between mommy and baby. Very, very intimate. It can be relaxing and it's very therapeutic as well as it nourishes baby. So that's basically what it is. When baby cries or when baby is hungry, baby latches onto breast and they get the nutrients from the breast and they grow healthy and strong.
All right. And I see Simika is here with us. All is well, Simika? All right. So I'm seeing your lips moving. So we're getting closer, just not hearing it. All right. But we're getting better. At first, we weren't seeing you at all. So now we're getting somewhere. Let's see how quickly we can get that through. So, nurse, let's continue. So, we spoke about some changes that take place as we're preparing for breastfeeding. I say we, and it feels strange as we're preparing for breastfeeding. What are some of those changes that occur as the expectant mother prepares for childbirth and breastfeeding?
All right, so we have a lot of hormones going up. Um, and the breasts, they get a little bit more tender, they get enlarged or they get bigger because it's like your body, the maker is so, God is so good where he's like, all right, let me make a body that can feed a baby. So it's like this. All right, the breasts are there, they get larger. So the brain is like, okay, baby's coming, breast, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna start producing milk, get larger. Mommy might feel a little tenderness around the dark area or the areolar or the nipple. Yeah, and sometimes there might be a little drop of what's to come. That is the milk. Sometimes there's leaking of the milk as well. But that's what happens during pregnancy.
Okay. So you said that little leaking. Should one be concerned if there looks like a lot of leaking? What's a little leaking?
No, you're not going to be it's not anything to be alarmed about because it's natural. Sometimes these leakings are caused due to stimulation. For example, if you hear a baby cry because your body's like, oh, okay, the baby's here, so let me just feed the baby. So you have that letdown effect occurring. So what mommy can do is mommy can just express whatever is there in a sterile container, label it, and put it in freezer for baby when baby is here. So you don't have to feel, oh my God, anxious or anything. It's normal.
Okay. Interesting stuff here. Okay, cool. So let's imagine. So, as a question has popped into my mind, and we're looking at how we can support at some level. So the breast begins to get tender, and so what are some of the things that the husband can expect to say? Guess what? Let's calm down. She's not having any breakdown. Nothing is going wrong. How does he manage?
In terms of how does he be an understanding husband? That's what you're asking during the
Right.
whole breastfeeding stage. All right. Separate and apart from breastfeeding, how do males be supportive to their female counterpart? They can help around with household items, provided that she's now at home, right? So he can now help with household items like washing the plates, preparing some meal for her, giving her something to eat before she um breastfeeds because once mommy is comfortable or happy or relaxed, trust me, that breastfeeding experience is gonna be magical because you don't want mommy to be stressed out. When mommy is under stress or anxious, the breast milk will not flow as how it would if she were to be relaxed. So you want her to sit down comfortable, get a nice little pillow, husband or spouse can get the pillow or the chair, flop up the pillow, and just allow mommy her alone time with baby to just feed the baby. And she play a little music if she like music, or she watch her little show just to keep her mind at ease. Yes, so that's what we want to just support and encourage mommy.
All right. Relaxation helps breast. Is it breastfeeding or breast milk production?
The production, and so it will aid in breastfeeding the process.
All right, cool. So here we go. Third time round with Simika. Oh, and it's not Simika, Alexander Williamson.
It's
All right.
fine. Simplify is fine. You can hear me now, right?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
All right. So there we are. So what? So let's say then, let's get you in there. When you meet a pregnant mother, what is the first thing you want her to know that you believe is not necessarily talked about a lot when it comes to breastfeeding?
All right. So just like what nurse said a while ago, relaxation is definitely key. But I think one of the things that we don't talk about enough is the importance of support. So yes, while it's mommy and baby that will be going through the breastfeeding process, a lot of times, mommy comes home, she's on maternity leave, and we feel as if, oh, mommy can do all of these other things because, oh, she's on maternity leave. But maternity leave is for her body to heal. Remember, she went through a delivery process that is very strenuous on both her and baby. Baby's in an entirely new environment and they're trying to get used to everything. And of course, mommy is the source of comfort and food. So we shouldn't be expecting mommy to be washing and cooking and cleaning and doing all of these things with a new baby. That's what everybody else should be doing. We did the whole job for 9 months. So we need to relax. We need to bond with the baby. And we need to ensure that the baby is fed and it's a healing process. So don't think, oh, we're on leave, we can do all of these things. No, it's a time for mommy and baby to bond, mommy's body to heal, and baby can get their nutrition. So I think we don't talk about that enough, honestly.
Awesome. So we can see that Simika is off and running. So before we get any further into the passion that she has for breastfeeding, let's take a break. Come back with us and hear some more.
The time that Grace could move is
5:45.
We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years. Whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal, Grace has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose Grace, you know you're making a good move. Always a good move when you're moving with Grace.
Forget ordinary, think Liquimolly. Get a 15% discount on all Liquimolly oils and additives from April 25th to July 30th at all Burt's Auto Parts locations. Buy 4 or more Liquimolly engine oils or 4 transmission oils, you get a free LM40 all-purpose cleaner. But hurry up, the offer runs while stocks last and conditions apply. Forget ordinary, think Liquimolly. And remember, it hurts if you don't check Burt's.
Welcome back to Family Time here on Monday, August 4th. Independence is coming around, and I know that the excitement is already in the air for that. But today, we are dealing with breastfeeding, and our topic for today is understanding breastfeeding from first latch to everyday life. We're speaking to our guest nurse, Chevelle Morgan, and lactation consultant, Simika Alexander. For those watching and listening, remember, our feedback question for today is, what was the hardest thing for you when it came time to breastfeed? We're looking forward to hear what you have to say. So remember, send your text or voice notes via WhatsApp to 876-997-3125. You can call the studio lines and we will hear your questions or comments. Numbers there, 876-968 8327 or 8328. All right. So we were talking about one of the things that Simika wanted first time mothers to know about breastfeeding, something that is not talked about enough. I turn to you, Nurse Morgan. What kind of, so let's say a mother comes pregnant, mother comes to you there at the clinic. What would some of the tips be that you give her as she prepares for breastfeeding, especially if she's a first timer?
All right, so we're going back to basics with support. As I would mention earlier, I want to explore what her support system is like. First and foremost, because as I mentioned earlier, if she's not comfortable, if she's not relaxed, breastfeeding on the whole process is gonna be a very traumatic one for her, because she'll have to deal with feeding the baby and taking care of regular daily activities such as the cooking, the cleaning, the washing. And it is a state where she'll have to heal. And she's a first time mommy, so she's going to be anxious. So we're gonna talk about that support system. A lot of times in the health centers, we have support groups. You know, you will have the baby mother with the baby mother, they meet and they form friends and all of those things. They create bonds, like that's real, that's a real thing. And they exchange numbers and they're like, oh, hi, bestie, you know, I see it all the time. It's quite interesting. And they talk and they share among themselves experiences. We also demonstrate the different techniques with breastfeeding. We demonstrate how to clean the breast, because, and we give them a lot of information on the benefits of breastfeeding, because why am I buying into breastfeeding if I don't know what the benefits are? Which one of the big sells for us is brain development, because hello, we want our baby to be nice and smart and healthy. So we sell that a lot in hospital, as well as it is so cost effective. So we are selling a lot. We're saying, mommy, we're here for you. Breastfeeding is beneficial because it's convenient. You have the breast, the baby is there. You can talk to your baby, sing to your baby while you're breastfeeding. You need to be relaxed. These are some things you're going to look out for if it is that baby is not latching on properly. If you're uncomfortable with something, you can always come back to clinic. You can talk to your friend, or you can come to us. We'll show you, because we show them in clinic all the time with our little dolly, and we make some models of breast and we show them how it is done, right? Because this is important. Practical over theory all the time, so that you
Okay.
can see.
And this sounds, as you mentioned, it sounds like something that they should bring the father along for, so they can get some help. But let me say, while I'm
Yes.
advocating for fathers to be there, I'm hoping somebody from a clinic is hearing, so they can put in more chairs. So when the fathers go, they can actually be a part of it versus saying, we don't have enough space for you, but mommy can come. You know. But besides that, yeah. So I think the father should be allowed to hear about all this. Simika, we've heard some of the practical steps that the mother can take. How do you support her, or how do you suggest she gets ready emotionally, to be confident so she knows what to do? Is there anything that she needs to psych herself up for, or what can she do emotionally and stuff to get herself confident and ready for the task?
Sure. So one of the things that you're gonna hear, a lot of people are gonna come with their advice. Grandmothers, aunties, cousins, they did it before, and this is how they did it, and we need to do this and we need to do that. But what you have to remember is that your journey is your own. And while other people are gonna come with all sorts of advice, if at any point in time you feel uncomfortable or you feel like something is not going right, don't feel afraid to reach out for the necessary help. Just like what nurse said, you can go to your nearest health center, there are support groups, and keep in mind that it's not always what your peers tell you is the correct thing. I mean, there is so much information out there. You can look up and get the necessary correct information for yourself, or reach out to a professional for help. But what I will say is, you might hear, oh, it's painful, and you might hear you don't always produce enough milk. But what I will say is, go in with a positive mind. That is usually half of it done for you. If you're going with a positive mind, thinking, I'm made for it, it will happen. This is how God designed it to be. Best believe you're already halfway there. If you go in with the doubts, that's when the problems come in. I'm not saying it's gonna be all bells and whistles and completely easy and no tears. But the fact that you're already worried that you're gonna do a good job, means that you're already a good mom. It's not gonna be perfect. Both you and baby are gonna be learning, just like walking or creeping. It's one step at a time, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Wow. So you're hearing it there from the professionals. Remember, we're talking about understanding breastfeeding from first latch to everyday life. And our guests are Simika Alexander, a lactation consultant, and Chevelle Morgan, a registered nurse. So we so what does so let's get down to the breastfeeding now. What does a good first latch look like, Simika?
So just like what nurse said, I have my stuff, but it's not everybody going to see. So let me see how best I can verbalize it for people to understand. So what a good first latch looks like is that you want the mouth to be wide open, and the baby should be on as much of the areola as possible. What the areola is
Much
that
of the
dark
what?
area that's on the
Dark.
breast. The areola. Right, the areola. So that's the dark area on the breast. And it's not all of the areola, because some people areola is bigger than some. So it's as much of the areola as possible. And we want the lips to be flanged out, and the chin should be up on the breast. So it's like you should be holding the baby as close to you as possible. We don't want you to be holding the baby away from you. I tell mommies all the while, the baby in your belly for 9 months, hug up the baby, man, smush them up is your baby. Don't be afraid of them. So we want them as close to you as possible, so that the mouth is covering both the areola and the nipple. It shouldn't be just a latch on the nipple. Lips are flanged out, chin up onto the breast, and just you want to see that the nostril is there for the baby to be breathing. So it's as close as possible to the breast. That's a good latch. And it's not only how the latch looks, it's important how the latch feels. So we don't want mommy to be feeling any pain whatsoever. So if you're seeing stars, or you're curling your toes, or you're wincing, that means something is wrong with the latch, and we want to address that, see what's happening, and we want to ensure that baby is breathing, gulping, and swallowing.
Nurse Morgan, you're still here?
Yes, I'm here.
Just checking if it was me. Just checking if it was me. All right.
I'm here. So just to piggyback until she gets on again, where like you're seeing the motion because you don't want to hear the. Once you hear that sound, you know latching is not properly done. You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to see that rhythmic motion of the baby swallowing, but you're not supposed to be hearing that. And once you hear that, you can always come to us in the health centers and we'll show you what to do. And it's all about the positioning. You have to hold your baby close to your belly to belly just to have that extra support. Are you there,
Right.
Tamika? Can you hear me?
She's there. Yes, Simika,
I'm here.
just before you chime in again. I know that you're concerned about those who are listening, but let's be concerned about those who are watching as well. I'll give you a minute to grab your props while I ask Nurse Morgan a question. All right. So, Nurse Morgan, you were speaking about skin to skin when the baby is just born. How important is that, and why you do emphasize it that more?
The skin to skin. It's the most beautiful thing and intimate thing you could ever do when you're having a baby. Because imagine you have brought this baby for 9 months or almost 9 months, a full term baby, and you bring them close to you. So you want them to be bonding with you. So when you bare skinned, you have nothing on, no brassiere, your skin to their skin, naked as they're born. We give mommy. That is us in helping to initiate the breastfeeding. And then the baby will do something called routine. They'll be like, they're looking for the breast. So it's like that we are supporting mommy. So baby like, rooting like, hey, I'm hungry, give me the food now, mommy. And mommy's like, okay, especially first time mommy, they're so kind of shy. And we just come and we position them and they connect and it is so amazing to see. It's very, very good. And then baby just latches on and we just hold them and we're looking at them like, wow, isn't God good?
Awesome. So I'm coming back to Simik, but I'm gonna because we're 3 minutes to break. I'm gonna take you right after the break. So right after the break, I'll come back to you with the props that you have. So there's a comment here from WhatsApp, and it says, "Good evening. I'm not a female, but I can speak based on what I know of. I believe that the hardest part of breastfeeding is when a mother has to fold in the nipple that the baby sometimes end up drinking from one breast." Simika, help me out there. Did I read that properly when the mother has to fold in the nipple?
I'm not sure if he's trying to get the baby to latch onto the nipple and the areola, because it shouldn't just be the nipple. Remember, we had mentioned that before. Shouldn't just be the nipple, it should be the dark area, the entire, as much of the areola as possible. So I'm not sure if that's what he's referring to when he's saying fold in the nipple, so that the mom can latch onto as much of the areola as possible, not only the nipple, because that's when we're gonna have pain and crying and all of that uncomfortable experience.
Ah, okay. So, bro Sam, you can always come back and let me know if you had anything else. But let me say thank you to the men who are listening, watching, and obviously we like your comments. We're looking for more women to jump in as well. But obviously, men, you've been there with your wives and the mothers of your children. Let's know what's up. Thank you so much. So, we're going to be taking care of some business in a short while. But nurse, you said the whole matter of skin to skin is important. I'm just doing a little summary for those who weren't here before. So we have skin to skin is very important. When breastfeeding is going to happen, you need to ensure that the mouth latches on properly over as much of the areola as possible. Am I getting that right? All right.
Yes,
And even before breastfeeding, it's important to prepare yourself mentally and of course get yourself properly nourished and just informed so that when it comes, you're confident and ready for the task. How do I sound?
yes. I think you've done so correctly. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's go to a break and we'll come back for some more information.
Crime Itana and human trafficking is everybody's business. Call 1-888-PROTECT to report suspected cases of child trafficking.
The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6 o'clock.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Remix the summer with Digicel. 100 lucky winners win $100,000 each, plus surprises all summer. To enter, buy a SIM 7-day plan or higher. Switch to Digicel. Be an active postpaid or Digicel Plus customer, or receive US $15 or more from abroad. Gift a friend a plan. They could win $25,000. Remix the summer with Digicel. Authorized under Section 58 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promo ends September 15, 2025. Conditions apply. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for more info. Digicel, better connected this summer.
Welcome back to Family Time here on Love 101. Special shout out to all those watching us live, and of course we are happy to have those who are following the traditional means of radio. Thank you so much for making it Family Time. This topic is quite important and we're learning a lot from our guests. We're dealing with breastfeeding, understanding breastfeeding from first latch to everyday life. I was wondering how far everyday life stretches, but I'm sure I'll get that answer before we are through. So I recall that we ought to have our WTF feature or word to flesh feature. Could you let me know if that's ready? Or
Song of Solomon 8 verse 1 says, "If only you were to me like a brother who was nursed at my mother's breasts, then if I found you outside, I would kiss you and no one would despise me." This sounds like an unusual wish from a sister. This is because from a cultural context, it does not translate well. However, some critical things that translate well for us are, number one, a mother's breasts should be a place of nurturing and a place of protection. A child or siblings should not find violence and hate at a mother's breasts. Sadly, some children do. Mother, remember, God gave you those children to nurture and love, not to abuse verbally and physically. Another thing we should note is the desire of the nurtured daughter to continue to find love from her brother, who was also nurtured alongside her at their mother's breasts, even when they're outside the home. Such is the power of good love, God's love. Children who are lovingly raised share that love and expect it whenever they are outside the home. So too, when children are raised in conflict and hate, they often pass on and expect it when they're outside the home. Mother, check yourself. How are you raising your children? With love or with hate because of life's pressures and frustrations? A mother's breast from first latch throughout life should be a place of nurturing and love for her children. I'm Reverend Mike from Fellowship Tabernacle, and we just had a WTF moment.
right. Thank you, Rev Mike, for those inspiring and informative words. I just like when the men are talking up about this whole breastfeeding matter. So here we go. We're right back. And don't forget to send in your comments and your voice notes. So if you're using WhatsApp, 876-997-3125. If you're calling the studio lines, 876-968-8327 or 8328. So here we go. Nurse Morgan and Simika. We're going to have a little true and false to settle some matters that persons are a bit divided on. So, true or false? Some mothers have breasts which are too small for them to provide milk or enough milk.
False.
False. Simika, you're going to chime in. You said true, false. You're thinking.
Repeat the question. I heard something. I heard you say some mothers, and I heard you say enough milk. I didn't hear the in between.
Right. If a mother can have breasts which are too small for her to provide milk, or if so, she won't provide enough milk.
That's a technical question, but off the bat, no, that's false.
All right, so we'll settle on false. We'll settle on false. True or false? Babies should be given tea to warm up the belly. So you have breast milk, but you should give them some tea to warm up the belly.
Can we have an age on that?
An age on that?
Because it is recommended. All right. So off the bat, to answer that, it is recommended that you exclusively breastfeed for at least 6 months with only liquid gold or breast milk. So anything outside of that is too technical or too harsh for baby, because baby just come out. Baby's kidneys aren't fully ready for other foods other than the breast milk, which is so easy to digest for them. So I'm not going to agree with that statement, because the breast milk is adequate enough to provide nutrient dense meal for the baby.
All right, Simika, you agree? True, false?
Yes, I agree. Exclusive breastfeeding means nothing else but breast milk. So no juice, no water, no tea, nothing else. The breast milk is the perfect nutrition, the perfect food, the perfect source of everything for those first 6 months.
So suppose they say the baby thirsty and they need some
breast milk.
You have the breast milk.
Yes, there's water in the
breast milk.
There's water in the breast milk.
Good. You have the water part, you have the fat part, you have the vitamin, the mineral, all of that is in the breast milk. So it already mixed up, It already mixed up. It is sterilized, which is it's free of any unwanted germs or harmful germs. It's sterilized, You don't have to do nothing but make sure your breast clean. You understand? Then it and the baby connected via Bluetooth or something, because when baby hungry, the milk will flow, and you just connect the baby to it and make the baby feed. The baby don't want nothing more than that. And when the baby happy, you happy. So what worry about?
As you mentioned that, the baby, don't want nothing more than that. Let me read a WhatsApp and I'll get the lactation consultant, Simika, to chime in here. A nurse, you can probably chime in afterwards too. My baby, I'm reading what I see, it's not me. My baby boxed away my breast twice in the night because nothing was coming out, and I had to run to the midnight pharmacy to get formula. Mercy! Maybe my baby was getting only gas from the breast. How do we respond to that one?
So, what I will say is there must have been so many things that were happening before mommy had to get to this point. I want mommies to realize that milk just doesn't disappear overnight. There are always some signs where you're introducing something else, where you giving something outside of the breast milk before, where you're introducing a pacifier, because breast milk is supply and demand. So the more you feed from the breast is the more milk the breast will make. If at any point in time baby wants to get milk and you're giving baby something else, whether it's in a bottle or in another form outside of from the breast, you're telling the body to make that much less. Secondly, gas doesn't come from the breast. That's really a big myth. So I can't even say generally what she was experiencing. I wish I was there to help you at that point in time. I'm so sorry that you had to go to that stage, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. And I think a lot of times these are the stories that we tell some other moms and they already believe, oh, my baby's not getting enough. So there are really a lot of steps before you get to that point. And maybe milk was there, but for whatever reason, it wasn't flowing. And that is a case where you should have really reached out for help. I mean, it was good that you were able to get the formula at that point. That's what it's there for, to help you if you need to. But in more cases than not, and I would say 8 out of 10 mommies have the ability to breastfeed without any supplementation.
All right. So I remember that you had your props, and I realized that it was specific for black mothers. So could you hold up your the prop again, and let us see? So you right. So for those who weren't seeing, and you were saying that the mouth should go over the areola as much as possible. So right. So that's okay. All the way over there. So it
So
shouldn't be on the nipple, all the
I
way over there.
realized. So I
Go
saw
ahead.
the question where the person was asking about the fold in the nipple. So I think what
Mm-hmm.
he was referring to was where they probably have inverted nipples. So what? So if you realize on this breast the nipple is protruding, so that's what we call an inverted nipple. But some mummies have flat or inverted nipples, and that's what he was talking about. There's not something that's coming out. So probably he was talking about that fold. So he was saying if there's that fold, sometimes it's hard for the babies to latch. It makes it a little bit more complicated. But once it is that baby can latch over the areola because it's not the nipple that the baby latches on. Usually you just want to make an area of skin for the baby to latch. We can do that in a hamburger hold or a U hold. And once the baby is able to latch, you're going to need some help and support to do that. Then it makes it a little bit more comfortable for the baby to latch. But it can be a little bit more challenging than those that have an inverted nipple. So I understand what he's saying now.
All right, cool. So we're getting a few comments in. There's a voice note. Let's take that voice note and then we'll come back.
Good evening, family time. Brother Durval, good evening. The breast is the best. However, you cannot have the child on the breast for the full straight 3 months without nothing else. There is problem for the baby when you have to go back to work. You can do that with a mother who does not work. So she has enough months and time to feed that baby. But once you see they stuck to the breast, they don't want anything else. And when you leave them at the daycare, they are hungry and they are miserable and them get real thin. So if a working mother, I would not advise that.
All right. So I see where it's gonna be interesting, but just jump in, Nurse Morgan, because I see you. Like I said, what you just said? Go ahead, Nurse Morgan.
All right. I am a registered nurse. I'm a mother of two. Yeah. And I have been studying from myself. One of the things I've always advocated and talked about is support. And I have to big up my family. Support. So when she says that you can't do that exclusive breastfeeding for 3 months and then go back to work, I agree with the sense that 3 months is too short, because if you want to do 6 months exclusive, we should get 6 months at least. However, there is a thing to it. You can express and then you can have daddy give baby milk, the breast milk, from the cup and the spoon that is clean, so that you can do that assimilation, that transition, so that when you go to work, it is smoother. And I will tell you, there's nothing in life that is going to be easy and smooth. When I say it's not difficult, but you can, in fact, breastfeed for 6 months. I've done it for up to 8 months for the first one and up to 1 year for my second baby. I did complementary feeding for both of them after 8 months, which complementary feeding is introducing other foods other than breast milk after 8 months while working, because I expressed and all of those things. But it can be done. You just have to introduce the cup and the spoon, or introduce someone else to feed baby. So you try it today, it might not work. You try it back later, the baby probably accept it. You understand, so that they can get used to feeding other than from the breast, but it's still your breast milk.
Okay, so we're on a break. So I'll finish up with you and come to Simika right after the break. This is Family Time. Join us after the break.
Remix the summer with Digicel. 100 lucky winners win $100,000 each, plus surprises all summer. Gift a friend a plan. They could win $25,000. And the time by Digicel is now 6:15 p.m.
See all my other face bruise up? They beat me just because I'm so tired.
I'm only 13, but they said if I work harder, they will make me go back home.
Me no have no birth paper nor no ID. Them have all of my documents then.
Forced labor is one of the many forms of human trafficking. Report suspected cases of human trafficking. Call the nearest police station, 119 or 888 PROTECT. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Celebrate the end of year in style at the Montego Bay Convention Center, where elegance meets excitement in the heart of paradise. Planning a corporate gala, holiday, or New Year's Eve party? This world-class venue is the perfect place to end the year. Book now and get 10% off all rooms for end-of-year events. But hurry, dates are going fast. Montego Bay Convention Center, where it all happens.
Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101. We're speaking with Nurse Chevelle Morgan and lactation consultant Simika Alexander. Just before we went to the break, before I get there, we have two books that we want to introduce from Family Life Ministries. The first is Answers to Questions Parents Ask. I wonder if they deal with breastfeeding here. But it says Answers to Questions Parents Ask. And the second book is Questions on Love, Sex, and Marriage. You can purchase them from Brian's Bookstore, the Jamaica Baptist Union Bookstore, and Source of Light Bookstore. But wait, there's a third book. So don't go yet. The third book is called Before They Say I Do. Before They Say I Do. And the emphasis there, they, because it's the questionnaire and the manual, and it's specifically for counselors and psychologists, pastors, marriage officers, so those who are helping persons with counseling as they go before they will have decided to get married. All three books are available through Family Life Ministries. You may call them at 876-920-1034 or 876-926-8101. Nurse Morgan, I know that you said, you were in disagreement about the exclusive breastfeeding. You said it should be exclusive, but you gave some leeway as to how one could introduce stuff after the period of exclusivity has passed. You mentioned the spoon and the cup. I noticed you didn't say bottle. Was that intentional, spoon and cup, or is this an example? Bottles are fine as well.
All right, so the bottle, this is going to be very controversial. I'm going to say that from now. The bottle is not something that we we really lean for, because sometimes the baby may confuse it with the breast. Oftentimes we encourage small cups and spoons, some small spoons, and you just feed the baby that way. But if it can't work and you have to resort to the nipple bottle, you just have to resort to it. But sometimes I find that the babies get confused with the bottle and the breast. I'm not sure if you experience that, Samika, but I've seen that being unpractical and talking to other mothers. So other mothers have stated that using a cup and a spoon, it helps. But some have said that they've expressed and put it in the bottle and it works as well.
So, Simika, I'm going to allow you to chime in, but I'm going to take the follow-up voice note from Sister Rere. So, there's a follow-up voice note now. So, when you hear that, you can chime in on the follow-up and the previous voice that we'd have heard.
Yes, nurse. I used to run a nursery, and that is the biggest problem. And we have to force and force till them start to take the bottle. Everybody don't have somebody to give them a cup or a spoon. Remember that. We have to look for the people who never have a father out there.
6:15 p.m.
Yes, and I'm saying that a father. I'm just using the word father as an example. You know, anybody that is around you can try it. Just it is like you want that assimilation or that transition to occur. Because as I said, it's not gonna be easy. It is gonna be challenging because hey, the breast is very comfortable, you know. So imagine you taking away that comfort from baby and baby so used to it. And when them comfortably not telling you them put them foot in your face and all kind of something. And to take that away, it's going to oh God. Imagine you comfortable. Talk to me. Your comfort zone. And then somebody just take it from you. You're not gonna upset. You're
It
not
would
gonna
be
upset.
challenging. It would be
It's going to
challenging.
be challenging. It's not going to be easy.
Yes,
But it
speaking
is
for the
something
household,
that
it
is
will be challenging.
achievable. It is something that is achievable. That's all I'm saying. Don't just throw it away and say, "Oh, don't do the breastfeeding because baby not going to want to eat." It is going to take some time, but the baby will eat.
All right, Simika. You're there with it?
I'm here. I'm just
Right, go ahead.
waiting on my screen to unfreeze.
Oh, okay. Well, we're hearing you.
I am.
Awesome. So, what do you have anything to add to what nurse would have said or follow up with Sister Riri and her voice note?
Right. Hearing me? I hope you're hearing me.
I have.
Okay, so let me say quickly because I realize that the time is running out. But what I will say, as nurse said, support is very important, and I don't want us from the get-go to say it's not going to work because of all of these other things that we think might come into play. Mommy alone definitely can't do it on her own. It is going to be very difficult. However, any sort of support, grandma, auntie, cousin, sister, friends, everybody's there, have the money to throw a baby shower and give you all of these things, and when the baby comes, nobody's there to be found. So we need to realize that support goes through and through. What we also have to understand, I feel like you were asking about, I know she's talking about when mommy has to go back to work. Best believe we need support from the government, we need support from the workplaces, we need support from all public aspects. It's not just within the family itself, but external support is necessary for any sort of change. It's very important. But when I know a nurse was saying that there's an issue with the bottle, let me be very diplomatic. The Ministry of Health and WHO, they don't recommend, especially when we're doing the baby friendly hospital initiative, we don't recommend pacifiers or nipples or any sort of teats because we think that that is replacing direct breastfeeding. But what I will say is that we do live in a modern world and things can get tricky at some point in time. And the bottles are the most convenient vessel for somebody else to feed the baby from. However, the bottle most nipple is not compatible with breastfeeding. So because the nipple flow is too fast or the nipple shape is too soft, whenever it is that the baby goes on the bottle, they develop a preference for the bottle and don't want to go back to the breast because the flow from the bottle is completely different from the flow from the breast. However, that's where help comes in. So I'm a lactation consultant and I see clients privately. We can teach you how to feed the baby using the bottle. We can show you specific ways in which to feed the baby from the bottle. We want to do paced bottle feeding because if you're feeding them laying flat and the bottle going down, gravity is feeding them. So many other things come into play that needs more support. But I do agree that the bottle can complicate things, but there's a right way to do it. So we just have to understand that support is multifactorial. It's not just from one section, and we need to bring everybody into the aspects and don't think, oh, breastfeeding is a mommy thing. Because if we want to say baby must breastfeed for 6 months exclusively, but where is the evidence, where is the support to go up to 6 months exclusively? So it needs to come from different aspects. This is not something we can only have a conversation about here. The church needs to help, Minister of Health needs to help, everybody needs to come in and help.
It's and I will agree with you. It's a big
Before you
factor.
continue, Just
It's a
before you
big
take
follow
the
through. It's
children.
a big follow through. We need the support. We need the support in the workforce. If there's an area where the mommy can go and express, or even a daycare close, so mommy can go and breastfeed and go back to work. It's a big thing. It's a proper follow through. And big ups to all of the workplaces who are actually doing this. Big ups to them. You understand? But it's not just in the family. It's support is everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere.
So I hear we have a caller online. Janet Witter, are you there?
Listening, but I am a new grandma and I'm not very young. But I watch my daughter and my daughter-in-law go through exactly what those your experts are saying. They find time, whether early in the morning or in one case that the privilege it's there for them to do it at work. And believe me, I really honor them. They are making sure that they express. When I see the amount of milk that they express and have here, and they're able, all they ask is give you instructions on what to do, get it into the bottle and whatever, and it's working. And the breast is the best. The breast is the best. I think that is the best immunization that a child can get. Right? So, I don't totally agree with Sister Ray. I love her so much. We just need to be more responsible as parents. As a matter of fact, what is going on, is a lot of our people are having babies without making any proper plan or anything like that. So, we come up on all kind of hurdles. But I watch these two young women and I really honor them. How they make sure they express the milk. The child know when mommy's supposed to come home, By the time mommy come home, they're ready to go on the breast. But when mommy's not home, they get the bottle and they drink the milk from the bottle. They have milk from the bottle. And to me, I implore all mothers to try your best to make sure your child gets the breast. It pays off. It pays off. Especially for the child's health, especially with the kind of world we're living with so many diseases. The breast is the best. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much, Janet Witter. They're calling in. And we could go a very, very long time with this, but the wrap-up signal is here. Is there anything that we want to say in 30 seconds? Nurse Morgan, Simika, 30 seconds so I can get the wrap-up going. Any last words?
Breastfeeding is the best. Breast is the best. If we want it to work, we have to take the time and just make it work. Nothing in life is easy, but you can do it. It is possible. I've done it. Other mothers have done it. And you just need to try. All right? Support, support, support. And Mr. Government, if you're hearing us, we need some support. Thank you.
All right, Simika.
I'm right there behind nurse. I have 2 children. I exclusively breastfed them for 6 months. I'm in the process of weaning my 2-year-old daughter. It's not impossible. It's not easy. It's challenging, just like anything else. It takes commitment, it takes dedication, it takes time, and it definitely takes support. And honestly, if you're not getting the support that you need within your circle, reach out externally for help. You have the health centers, the nurses, and the midwives. And if you're able to afford private help, I'm here and I can assist.
All right. Thank you so much. We've heard it from the experts. Yeah, let's get to breastfeeding. So, thanks for being with us. Let me thank our guests again for being with us. For those listening and watching, if you have questions of a personal nature or are concerned about a friend or a family member, call us. For more information on our services and for our counselors in Kingston and other parts of the island, contact Family Life Ministries head office at 876-920-1034 or 876-926-8101. So we also have WhatsApp, so you can use that as well. But for appointments and information on costs, you must call the offices. Otherwise, to keep up to date with what's happening with Family Life Ministries and our programs, check us out on our Facebook page, FLM-Family Life Ministries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries-FLMJA, and on Instagram, FLMJA. Our Bible verse for today, Isaiah 66, verse 11. For you shall suck and be satisfied at her comforting breasts. You shall nurse and be delighted with her abundant glory. Join us again next week for another informative program. Thanks again to our special guests, Simika Alexander and Chevelle Morgan. Thanks to our show producer, Kathy Gale, Rashid Perry for research and resource assistance, and thanks to Derval Graham for piloting us through this hour. Of course, to all those who are watching and listening, thank you, walk good, have a good week. It's been Sir Twain.
You're tuned to Family Radio broadcasting from Kingston, Jamaica. We're Love 101 FM. The time is now 6:30 p.m. And